Hello, everyone. This is Robert Allen. Welcome to our weekly Goldmiind call, where people join and learn how to have the mindset for enrolling 4 people in RX in 8 weeks or less. And for many people who have not been involved in network marketing, this is a difficult conversation. So if you're with RX, and you should be, unless you've been invited to join on to this call, my name is Robert Allen, the best-selling author of, I was going to point my books, but it's behind the screen right here, of some New York Times bestsellers. I love RX. I love the industry of network marketing. I love the products that we use. I love how they're working on my skin and my body. And welcome. So the goal that we all have is how we enroll 4 people, because when you enroll 4 people in RX and those 4 people are, consuming those products on a regular basis, they found a product they absolutely love, and they don't go, those 4 customers earn you enough income to pay for your product every single month. And so you get to select the one product that you absolutely love. And that's the beginning of building a network marketing business in RX. So last week, we've been at this for the month of January, and we try to do 4 calls where I rotate around the 4 skills. The very first call, we didn't go greatly into depth on the first skill, but when we rotate into February, we'll start all over again. So the bottom line of our conversation is, and by the way, February's call is not, next week's call is going to be January the 31st, if I'm not mistaken. That's a Monday. It'll be, actually probably it'll be February 1st. So we'll start into our cycle of 4 again. This time we're going to be talking about the 3rd skill and the 4th skill. We're going to talk about what I call the ritual. If you want to succeed in life, you have to have 4 specific skills that each person who wants to succeed learns how to become very good at. And the very first skill is to. I'm sorry. By the way, this call is being recorded. I should come back from church, actually. Tomorrow morning, really early, I'm flying off to Japan. I'm going to be there for 8 days. Our next call is going to be from Japan. I'll be doing it at some wild hour in the morning, probably there. But the bottom line is we'll continue our cycle. That's what we do every week. Clarity. What do you want? What don't you want? And why? When you converse with somebody, rather than going into the incredible products we have, if you're trying to befriend somebody, this is the question they really want to know. How can they get what they want? How can they get rid of what they don't want? And how can they tap into this sense of purpose, this why-ness, right? So the first couple of times we've been talking about clarity and how to achieve clarity by going to the top of a mountain. I'm going to repeat that here in a second. Second skill is to anticipate. We spent a lot of time talking about this last week. Matter of fact, let me remind you what we talked about last week. We talked about all the 5 major obstacles that stop us from getting what we really want. And if you're not clear about what those obstacles are, if you're not prepared for them, if you're not anticipating them, the good things and the bad things that can happen as you move towards your goal, then if you're not ready, then you get knocked off the mountain, And so we talked about the 5 specific obstacles that can challenge you. Now, if you want to watch that again, down at the bottom of this page, there is an archive of other previous calls. So where I went into the conversation about this and how to go into great detail on that, you can watch that again. It takes, about an hour. Now, this is the 3rd skill, and it's spelled wrong if you understand how you spell ritual. I like to call it a ritual because if you do this on a regular basis, you become rich. And if you don't, rich in all areas of your life, rich in success and rich in your relationships, rich in your health, rich in your mindset, rich in your emotions, rich in your finances. You know, you can be rich in all areas of your life. And so this is a habit. I'm going to go into depth into this today. And then finally, it's the task. How do you get certain things done? How do you make sure you're not just dreaming about the things you want and preparing for the things that might, you know, stop you, and doing a daily ritual to kind of prepare yourself to get on into the game? You know, how do you actually get things done? What's an organizational system, a time management system, if you will, a task management system? Because that's what you're really managing. You're not managing time, you're managing tasks. So I'm going to be teaching you how you get things done when you don't have time to get anything done. How do you find that extra hour a day to find those 4 people, how to fit that into your life? And we'll be going into great detail on that next week. The bottom line here is we want to talk about ritual and why that's so important. And the reason I want to show you the big picture is because if you nail those 4 skills, if you get good at those 4 things, you can have anything you want. If you are not good at these 4 things, you can't have what you want. And what you don't want is going to be becoming bigger and bigger and bigger in your life. You have to be really clear. What do I want? And therefore, anything that would take you off of your track, of that groove you're on towards what you want, if you're not clear about what you want, you're not going to get there. If you're not prepared for the challenge you're going to face, the mountain you're going to have to climb, you're not going to get there. If you don't have a daily process of regimenting yourself, you know, preparing yourself to get into the game, all successful people have a ritual. Now I'm going to talk about that next. And then if you're not doing these things, then you're not going to get anything done. You're going to be overwhelmed, overstressed, and you don't want to be that way. What you want is to succeed. And so you're going to take out a blank piece of paper and draw exactly what I draw right here. It's not going to be hard to do. It's going to be fun. This is where you are down here with your frowny face, and this is where you are up here in your dream home in a smiley face. And we do these simple diagrams. Why? Because you have to teach in network marketing. You got to teach the least common denominator, the person who is least likely to do this. In other words, I can show all kinds of fancy PowerPoints and all kinds of detailed organizational systems. And if the ordinary person doesn't have an iPad or doesn't have the ordinary things that would, if they don't have if they're not high tech, they can't do it. And therefore, we're going to be very low tech. We're going to be just the exact opposite. Now, I can do this high tech with you because this is just a whiteboard. This is a camera. This is a program called Zoom that we're using right now. Yeah, this is technology. Yeah, but when you're sitting down with somebody at Starbucks and you flip out a napkin, you take out a pen, which is available for anybody. You can borrow a pen from anybody in Starbucks. Anybody at the grocery store. Anybody where you're sitting down having a snack. McDonald's. You wouldn't go to McDonald's, but where anybody can provide for you the technology. The technology's got to be in your head. It's got to be so that you can talk about this stuff at the drop of a hat with anybody at any time without being afraid or without having to learn things. That's why I want to make this really simple. What don't you want? What do you want? Let me show you how to get there. In the process, since this is the third skill, we're going to use the same framework, and getting from where you are here to where you want to go is a matter of compound interest. And compound interest is the process of adding little bits over a long period of time to get into a huge growth pattern. And the problem with compound interest is if you don't have a pattern, if you're not daily depositing money, let's say, if you're not daily depositing money into your bank account, it is not going to grow into exponential growth. This is an exponential curve. The result of your activity is exponential, meaning it starts slow and then it finally, because it's starting to build on itself, the interest is earning interest, is earning interest, is earning interest, it starts to explode into exponential growth. And you see people who have achieved great success in RX. Why? Because they have exponential growth. Why? Because they did lots of little things daily over a long period of time until it exploded into growth. Now, of course, our goal is to enroll 4 customers in a very short period of time, and we don't have time for exponential growth because you're going to have to do things that are out of sequence, if you will. Yeah, it would be nice to befriend everybody and slowly let them know about your business, but we're in business, so we need to find customers who want what we have now. We've built up relationships with people for a long period of time. Friends, family members, associates. I can guarantee you that every single person you talk to in this next week, every single person you talk to, they may not admit it, they may not know the vehicle you're going to use to get there, but every single person you want to talk to wants to look better. We have a product for that. Wants to feel better? We have a product for that. Wants to earn more? We have a product for that. A vehicle for that. Wants to feel more pure, to breathe better air, to drink better water? We have a product for that. Wants to have products for the body inside and out that are pure, that are the best you can get? We have products for that. Every single person you talk to. Therefore, the goal is we need to find in a short period of time 4 of those people who want what we have because they're looking for it. They're Googling for it right now. And what do I mean by Googling? Well, that means they went online and they're sending out the signals. So the signals that you're going to have them attract, that will be attracting you to them, was as you're conversing with somebody, as in you get into a conversation about their ideal lifestyle. What do you want? If they start dropping hints that while they really want better health, that's the symbol for that. Oh, they really want, their relationship are not working as well as they like, and they'd like to have better friendships. They really want some free time, and they're too busy. If they talk about being too busy, or they really want to make some extra money, we have products for that. And they're going to tell you that they want these things, and then you're going to say, I've got a vehicle that can get you there. And notice how badly I'm drawing these things, because anybody can draw this. You don't have to be good. You just have to draw it down, write it down like this. In other words, make it fun. You can talk about this, but as you put these little diagrams down together, it becomes, what is it? It externalizes their thinking into a piece of paper. Therefore, all their thoughts that are jumbled around in their heads about what they want, what they don't want, how are they going to get it, worries, fears, critical voice. It's a mess in there. Your job is just to get it out. Say, let's get you from here to here. We need a vehicle. If you want to be an entrepreneur, you have to sell something. So find something you love to sell, And it's going to be a long-term process. It's going to be a compound interest. So all great people have a ritual. What is a ritual? It is daily things they do to prepare themselves to live their day. It's exercise, it's study, organization, planning, envisioning. Do you just rush off into your day? Or do you try to prepare yourself for the day? Well, life is a game. So when you get up in the morning and you rush out onto the field of life and you haven't prepared, done your push-ups, metaphorically speaking, if you have a mindset for getting in and playing on the game of life, then what will happen is you'll not do very well in the game. You'll fumble the ball. You'll miss it. You'll strike out. It'll be a bad experience. Now, this is a male metaphor. I realize that. Females play tennis too. They do all kinds of things. Oops, hold on a second. Hi, I'm on a conference call. Call me back in about an hour. Thank you. Sorry. The bottom line is that regardless of what game you play, you've got to have preparation time. And this ritual is usually based upon 3 areas of your life. I call it the being, the body, and the brain. So let's take Beethoven. Genius when it comes to music. Did he have a ritual? Oh yeah, he woke up at 6 o'clock in the morning and he started to write music. That was his most creative time. Then in the afternoon, he took a very long 2 or 3 hour walk. And he did this every day. In terms of his other activities, I'm not 100% sure. I do know that as part of his quote unquote ritual. It's just the way he lived his life every day. When Charles Dickens was writing these incredible books, Christmas Carol, for instance, he gets up at 7. He's dinner with the family or breakfast with the family. He's getting himself prepared, and then all those things make this certain ritual. 9 o'clock, he goes into writing. He writes till about 1. Then he has lunch with his family, and then he goes for a 3 hour walk. Talk about exercise. And during that 3 hour walk, he's processing what he's written. He is evaluating. He is organizing himself for the next day. It's just the way he did it. Now, you may have a different ritual than I do. What I'm trying to tell you is, or ask you is, what is your ritual? What do you do? How do you prepare yourself? And if you don't have a ritual, more than likely life gets fired at you point blank, and you don't know how to react to it. If you have a ritual that grounds you and gives you perspective, that's what it does for me. I go out further than 5 years. This is the 5-year process where you're thinking, this is what I want in 5 years from now. I'm out 10 years. I'm out 20 years. I'm out 1,000 years. Japanese business owners, they plan their businesses out 100 years from now. An American business person is day to day. No wonder they kick our butts when it comes to certain kinds of businesses. The bottom line is, the longer you expand your horizon, the further out you plan, the cheaper your life is today. Did you get what I just said? The further out you plan, the cheaper your life is today. Meaning, if I know I'm going to go 6 months from now, I'm going to fly at a specific birthday that I've already made arrangements for, probably better buy that ticket today. Because if I buy that ticket, I can buy it for half price. If I wait till a week from before I need to leave, it's going to be full price, and I'm not going to get the seat I want, and therefore it's going to be more expensive and less convenient. And the further out I plan, it'll be less expensive and more convenient. And the problem is, I need to squeeze time into my day to be able to do that. So remember, we talked about last week the fact that we're all in a whirlwind. There's got too much to do and too little time to do it. And yet out of that whirlwind, we need to carve out a little sliver of time in what we call our important time, the time about going to our goal. So we need to prepare for that. And then we also need to carve out some time. There's two. One is the ritual, and the one is the task. And out of our daily life, we have to prepare for the future, and we have to do the things that will take us to the future. Now, one of my favorite little stories, that, by the way, is an ant. And my favorite Aesop fable story is the ant and the grasshopper. And the ant is preparing all summer long and putting a little bit of food away and they're eating nicely and enjoying themselves, and they've carved out a little bit of time for saving some food for the wintertime. The grasshopper doesn't do that. He just eats everything. He plays and plays his fiddle and enjoys it. When the snow falls, he comes knocking at the ant's door and says, I didn't plan. Can I borrow some? And the answer is no. And if they did share some of their food, it would probably be much more expensive. Point is, you need to prepare your day with some ant time. Now, I know what I'm asking you to do is I'm not asking you just to build an RX business. I'm asking you to build a life. I'm teaching you how to live more successfully so that everything you do, not just your sliver of business time for RX, but every activity you do, your job, your family, your friends, your hobbies, and everything is basically run through a very simple system. And it means every day you have to make some plans, some steps. If you want to climb the top of Mount Kilimanjaro, you take a step every single day. And eventually you get to the top. No matter how steep it is now, how hard it is, if you take a step every day, you're going to get there. If you take a step every few seconds, you'll get there a lot quicker. The point is, if you don't take any steps, you're not going to get there. And if you're not planned and prepared to take those steps, which is what the ritual does, then you're more than likely not going to get to the top. So I'm going to challenge you to find some things about your being. That's your spiritual life. I don't want to get into too much various different spiritual beliefs, except to say it is my belief. It may not be yours, but it's on my belief that the spirit that is inside us, this life force inside us, has been with us for a long time and is going to go on for a long time. And this life is very short. Somebody once said that life is a flash of light between two darknesses. But it's just, for me, it's just the opposite. It's a moment of darkness. This is life. Between two very bright, brilliant lights. And I believe before we came here, we prepared to come here. And we knew it would be hard. But this is my own personal belief. It may not be yours. Bottom line is, when I think of us working and training together, this is the way I think of us. And I think, here's my co-spiritual being with a physical body experiencing this life in this short period of time that we have here, and we got to get some stuff done. And it's tough. It's dark for most people here, and we want to brighten it up as much as possible. Therefore, the being stuff is how you prepare for that. Body, do you take care of your body? What do you eat? How do you exercise? How do you prepare yourself? In the last year, I've lost 35 pounds. That's what was stuck. I was down to over 40 pounds. The bottom line is that I had to change a lot of habits, and I had to learn how to think differently, how to act differently, how to eat differently, how to exercise differently. I had to change my life, and therefore there are things I had to do every day, and it had to go into my schedule. Yeah, as busy as I was, as overwhelmed as I was, as stressed out as I was, had to squeeze some time out. So for me, it was in the morning. And my ritual happens in the morning. Brain, this is your planning time. This is your reading. This is when you're building these brain cells. This brain you have on your shoulders is unbelievably powerful. How do you take care of it? You exercise your brain. How do you exercise a brain? Well, you read, you study, you learn. Brain loves to learn. It's hungry to learn. And your brain loves to plan. One of the main functions of your brain is to predict. Did you know that? Your entire function, well, this is one book I read anyway, said, according to their opinion, the function of a brain is a predicting mechanism. It's projecting into the future. It's planning for trying to figure out, how do we get here? And the first thing a brain wants to know is, tell me where we're going. If I say we're going to have a seminar and it's going to be in, let's put it this way. Let's have a seminar. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to change your life. And it's not going to be in Miami, and it's not going to be in New York, and it's not going to be in San Diego. I'll see you there. And you go, well, where is it? Well, it's not going to be in Buenos Aires, and it's not going to be in Tokyo. And you go, well, where? Your brain wants to know where. And so if you keep telling it, I'm an idiot, there's no way I can do this, what's the matter with me, this is really hard, your brain doesn't want to know, does not want to know where it isn't, where you don't want to go. Your brain wants to know, where do you want to go? Because then it can predict for you. This is neuro stuff. This is really deep scientific stuff. Is when you tell it where it goes, it will vector. It'll open up your awareness about the things that are going on around you to help you get where you want to go, if you'll tell it where you want to go. Now, for me, in a spirituality sense, I want to also involve higher power in that conversation. Where do you want me to go? How do you want me to treat people? How do you want me to create, the long-term, like the ultimate long-term objective? How can I fit into a better groove towards the future? So for me, when I wake in the morning, I immediately go in my closet, which has to be directly above where we are right here. There's a chair in my closet. Very nice sized closet. Beautiful chair my wife bought for me when we moved into this home 5 years ago. There I have my scriptures, I have my journal, and I have my planning tool. That is the place, it's a sacred place. It's where I go every morning, exactly at the same, it doesn't matter what time I get up. This morning I got up at 4:30 because I'm leaving to Japan tomorrow. But what did I do this morning at 4:30? I'm looking at my scriptures because that's what I do every day. I do it every day. The first thing every day. For me, it gives me this sense of peace, this sense of perspective, the sense of, life is short. So let's make sure, while we're shortening here during this life, let's make sure we're building the right kind of foundation. Then I do a prayer, and I want to communicate with my Heavenly Father. This may not be your belief, but I'm just trying to tell you, I have a ritual. It's something I do. I haven't done it for most of my life, and it's only been the last 13 years, actually, that I've done it regularly. So the bottom line is, what do you do? Maybe there's meditation for you. Maybe there's planning, there's visualizing. Every one of us has a different pattern. What is your pattern? Is all I'm asking you. Well, then when I've done my journal, I write in a journal, I basically download thoughts from, I believe, my higher power, and I write those things down, and I try to act on those things first. And I try to write down what I did the day before, so it gives me perspective. So that's, praying and scripture reading and journaling is all part of my morning ritual, and it takes me about an hour to do that. And that means sometimes I have to get up an hour earlier than I normally would. I asked Deepak Chopra, we were flying back from Cabo the other day, and I said, Deepak, what's your ritual? And he said, he and I have totally different spiritual beliefs. And I said, what's your ritual? I didn't say it that way. I said, how do you prepare for your day? And he says, I wake up at 3:00 in the morning and I meditate for 2 hours. Now, I don't meditate myself personally. I'm certainly there are great benefits for doing that kind of practice. What I'm trying to point out is he can tell me exactly what his ritual is. Can you? And what is the ritual for? It's to prepare yourself to do the hard things, to climb this mountain. This is a hard mountain. And unless you're prepared physically and mentally and spiritually, more than likely this mountain is going to defeat you. But you're not going to allow it to defeat you, are you? And therefore, there is this ant time I'm talking about, this daily activity that you do, that you prepare yourself. And sometimes it might take you 6 months or a year to finally fit that into your life, into a pattern that works for you. But I can tell you from my own personal experience, before the ritual and after my ritual, the difference in my life is dramatic, profound, and I recommend it highly. And I think it's a habit that each of us has to have. And what happens for me is if I do them all, and usually when my being practice, there's 2 or 3 activities, as I told you. And there's my scriptures, and there's my prayer, and there's my journal. So that's a practice that I do. Body, there's the exercise I do, and there's the stretching, and then there's the eating and how I eat and what I eat and how I take my nutritional products, and I take those every day. And then the brain, there is the planning process, what I call, and I'll be teaching you this next week, the 3 steps of the planning process and how you do it. But I know exactly what this is like for me, and when I do it, it starts to build up will. This is how you build willpower. And willpower is the most important power that a human being can build. Because if you have will, you can have anything. And if you don't have will, well, look at people without will, and you'll see life in chaos. And you'll say, but how do I get the willpower to even exercise? How do I get the willpower to even do my daily meditation or prayer? How do I get the willpower to do, the brain planning stuff? And the answer is, you will not be perfect at this. You might only, out of my 9 things up there, I might have one perfect day where I do all 9 of those things once in a week. And the rest of the time, I'm hitting, on instead of 9 cylinders, I'm hitting on 4 or 5 cylinders. But the point is, I'm building this sense of groove, this groove. I'm building a groove towards the things I really want. I'm building a groove towards a lifestyle of who I want to be. Because when I get to here, and I feel in a lot of senses I am here, but when I'm here, I'm not going to change my ritual. My ritual is going to be part of my life forever. I want to plan, prepare, and project forever. And so it's not something I'm going to, when I get to my dream home, then I get to throw away all that stuff. No. I'll wake up in my dream home, as I did this morning. I'll wake up in my dream home after a very little sleep last night, and I'm going to do the same pattern over and over and over again. I'm honestly telling you, and you already know this, that having a pattern like that, whatever your pattern that builds your strength and abilities, builds your will. It builds your willpower so that you're not afraid to do the things that are hard to do. Because next week, we're going to talk about what you have to do on a daily basis. And every day, amidst your job and your family relationships and your ritual, you still have to do some things that'll bring money in the door. You have to generate some customers, period. You got to go talk to people, and it's hard. You're going to fail. You're going to be rejected. Oh, isn't this a fun conversation? And people are not going to like you. Some of them. But a few of them, they're going to send you an email. They're going to say, I was resistant at first, but you changed my life. Now, my former secretary, who was my wife's best friend, who got me and my wife involved in network marketing, at first I thought she was crazy, out of her mind, wanted nothing to do with her, told her so. Please, don't bug me with this. I was not nice. Well, I was nice in a not nice way. Or I was not nice in a nice way. That's what I'm trying to say. Do I love this woman today as the best friend who literally changed our life with regards to the streams of income we generate from our network marketing opportunities? Oh, it changed my life. And my health? No doubt about it. So, yeah, this is what friends do. Friends persist with friends until they say yes. So you have to find 4 friends like that, 4 associates like that, 4 total strangers like that. People who are Googling, and that's the point. How do you find them? We'll be going into that next week. How do you find the ones who are Googling, who are searching right now for the solution? Because I can guarantee you that 5% of the people that you meet this next week are Googling, intensely interested in one of the opportunities or one of the benefits that you already have because you're part of RX. But 95% of the people are not Googling it. So if you start pushing it on them when they haven't told you they're Googling it, and I'm using that word Google in a fun way, then they're going to feel as if that's pushy. The only ones who don't feel it's pushy are the ones who are actually searching. So if they're searching and they're Googling, you know, and you happen to be the answer to their Google, they go, oh, well, thank you. I've been looking for that. And for them, for those 1 in 20, they are extremely happy. But the 19 or 20 says, why are you calling? Why are you sending me an email? I didn't ask you for this. I didn't Google you. So why are you sending me stuff? Why see? And therefore, in your conversation with people, you're waiting for that opportunity where it looks as if they're Googling. They're basically saying, yeah, I'm looking for, they're Googling. Good. Slowly and carefully, you open them up to this possibility that you have a product or an opportunity that can change your life. My friends, must go. Early plane tomorrow to Japan. I wish you well. God bless. See you next week. For me, for you, it'll be 2 o'clock. For me, it'll be like 5 o'clock in the morning. So on Tuesday. See you then. God bless. Bye-bye. And if you have any questions or anything you want to communicate with me about, always send it to author@robertallen.com. See you then.